So this week we failed not one, not two, but 3 inspections on this project. Here's what I've learned from being a new developer, building my first ever home. As I mentioned in the past part of the video, I'm gonna go over what I learned so far in my development journey, as this week has been a very challenging and testing part of this journey. Again, given that I failed 3 inspections this week, stress level was at an all-time high, and I'm like, man, what is going on? But I also had to learn the fact, and this is what I would say lesson number 1, is control what you can control, because there's so many different moving parts in this process, and if you focus on things that you cannot control, you will literally drive yourself crazy. Trust me, I'm speaking from firsthand experience. And so yesterday I had to just sit back and reflect and like, look, man, there's only so much I can really do. And whenever you're trying to squeeze everything and have control over everything, it's not going to work out in your favor. Because again, you're only one person, one man. And you know, sometimes you just have to submit to greater forces that be. So that was one of my bigger lessons that I learned so far. Also, just with given the fact of everything, ultimately you are the person that is running the show. And so it's on you at the end of the day. If something goes wrong, everything's gonna fall back on you. And so there are certain things that I didn't review, which was why we failed the inspection. And it's like, okay, whoever made the mistake, ultimately it's on me because I didn't review these documents beforehand. And so that falls on me at the end of the day. And next time I know, before we, get to that point, I need to review all documents, all plans, and make sure that there's no mistakes or errors. Because if I reviewed it and caught it a month ago, then we would have never ran into it now. So, regardless of who you want to blame, at the end of the day, I think it's always best to hold yourself accountable. That way you always improve and know next time not to make those same mistakes. Also, I think you need to move with speed, always have, efficiency at the top of mind, but at the same time, know that everyone works at a different pace and everyone works kind of in their own way, and so you can't, again, force people to do something that's outside of who they are. And I kind of came to terms with that as well, is that, you're leading, when you do a certain project, there's 30 or 40 plus people that's going to be in and out of the job site. And it's kind of bizarre to expect for everyone to be on the same accord and on the same page. Ultimately, it's your job just to be the best leader and work with everyone where they are. You can't really expect for 10 people to reflect exactly what you do in the next 20 and 30, 40. It's just unrealistic, man. So I would say be realistic with expectations overall. And this is another lesson that I've learned as well, is that a lot of people will challenge you on things that they don't know, right? And so because of they haven't experienced them themselves or they don't know, they'll try to guide you or give you an opinion that could be completely wrong just because it comes from their point of mind or their place where they just don't know. And that's happened a few times where it's like, hey, you can't do this. And it's like, why can't I do this? Well, I think I can't do this. It's like, you don't know. So I always try to call and verify certain things to make sure what's actually going on behind the scenes. I think that always gives you a better opinion, a better reflection overall of, what can actually transpire and what can't. Because at the end of the day, man, a lot of people are just making stuff up as they go. And so, again, because it all circles back around to you, you're the person that needs to make sure and verify what can and cannot happen overall. And that even leads to my next point. And so I'm taking on a few new projects. I've kind of been quiet about it. And recently I went through a deal where the appraisal came back a certain number and everybody came back this, that, and the third, but because one person, he can't believe it, he can't see it, he thinks that it's not really doable, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll show you, and so those things all come back because the limitations of his mind can't extend beyond what he sees, and he can't see what I see. In his mind, it's not possible. In my mind, it's already been done. So it's just the two different thought processes. Even if you take this project in particular, like I said at the beginning of the video, had you came at the beginning of this year, 2025, this whole spot or pocket looked completely different. Now transform half a year later, and you have $2 million properties sitting side by side next to each other. And that all transpired in my mind, 6 months ago, right? So I said it all to say, and I'm not even trying to sound arrogant. This is for you guys, that when you're wherever level you're at, you're always going to have people that try to downplay your vision or sway you away from your vision. And it's on you to follow through with God, your instincts, whatever you feel, is your belief. But it's on you to make sure that your dreams transpire and become a reality. It's no one else's responsibility but your own. And so I say to carry that with a lot of pride, a lot of due diligence, just a lot of care, because ultimately you're the one that's living and experiencing that journey, not anyone else. And so I kind of just want to wrap up. Like I said, hey, we're making a lot of progress, man. I'm ultimately excited. I'm proud of the progress that we've made so far. It's just been a very, very cool experience, man, for something that, again, it was just kind of like a conception in my mind. And now everything is rapidly just kind of scaling. Like I said, even with future projects, I have a lot of big things on the way that I've yet to mention. So even with those things, it's kind of just been on my mind, and seeing this, it's been fun, man. So yeah, I just want to wrap you guys up with, I know it's not necessarily like a full project walkthrough. On the next video, I'm going to show you guys the sheetrock. All the installation should be up. I'll show you guys back to the construction part, but this one's just kind of the mindset part of real estate, because I think that's actually more important than the construction. Like, you can learn all this stuff, right? But if your mind is limited, then you can't really reach certain heights. And so I think that's even more important when you go into real estate, is making sure you have the proper mindset. So yeah, as I stated, there's just a lot to learn. And as being a new developer, like I said, it's bound to happen, certain mistakes, certain delays, things that are outside of your control. And so I've learned to kind of submit to those things and let my control be, my focus, and not let it stress me out too much on other areas. But yeah, as I mentioned, we have a lot of progress done with the installation. Next week, we'll be starting with the drywall. And then, yeah, after that, most of the interior work should be going up pretty rapidly. So yeah, right now I really enjoy where we're at in the phase of the project. I think the house looks really good overall. So we've made a lot of progress. Things are really starting to manifest and turn into the vision that I saw a few months ago before any of this was ever a reality. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe. Until next time, we'll catch you guys. Peace.